Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take, well, a whole stack of really great sources, pull out the key insights, the important stuff, and get it straight to you. And today, we've got a deep dive crafted just for you, looking into the really complex and fascinating life of Angelina Jolie. Our mission, basically, is to uncover the most surprising facts, the crucial moments that, truly shaped her incredible journey. We're drawing from a lot of material, including big chunks from Angelina Jolie, an untold Hollywood story. So let's unpack this. We're talking about, obviously, an Oscar-winning actress,
Yeah.
humanitarian,
Yeah.
director, mother, and really one of Hollywood's most, well, enigmatic figures.
Definitely enigmatic.
From those rebellious early days,
Yeah.
through huge triumphs, deep struggles, right up to being this global icon, her life, it's been anything but predictable. Which makes you ask, doesn't it? Who is the real Angelina Jolie beyond all the headlines?
Yeah, and that's exactly what we want to explore here. We're trying to get past just the surface stuff, uncover the stories maybe you haven't heard, the quiet struggles that maybe fueled her drive, the very public wins, and yeah, some secrets behind the glamour and that intense media focus. It's a story of constant change.
Absolutely. And what a starting point. Born June 4, 1975, Angelina Jolie Voigt. She literally had Hollywood in her veins from day one.
Right. Her dad, Jon Voight, already a big deal, an Oscar winner.
And her mother, Marceline Bertrand, also an actress, talented too, but she famously kind of stepped back from her career.
Yeah, put it on hold to raise Angelina and her brother, James Haven. That was her focus.
But, despite that Hollywood lineage, that glittering start,
Yeah.
it wasn't smooth sailing, was it?
Oh, far from it. The sources really highlight this. Her parents' divorce, it was really tumultuous, happened when she was young, and it left, well, scars. She's been very open, actually, about feeling like an outsider back then, struggling with self-harm. And her relationship with her father, it's always been complex, often quite difficult. There's this powerful quote from her, she said, "I went through a very dark period. I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere."
That really hits hard. It sounds like that feeling, that deep struggle of not belonging. Maybe that ironically became a source of strength, or at least a driving force.
Well, it seems like it channeled into her artistry, that outsider feeling. Maybe it gave her this intense empathy. She often took roles, characters on the edges, people others might avoid. It let her pour that inner turmoil into these incredibly raw, fearless performances.
So by her late teens, she was already making noise in Hollywood.
Big waves, yeah. But not in the way you'd maybe expect from someone with her background. It was different, more raw.
Raw is the word. She wasn't just acting. It felt like she was like those characters. You look at Gia, or Girl, Interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
Those performances were shocking, intense, vulnerable.
Completely. And bam, she wins the Oscar. She's just 24.
Which basically cemented that image, right?
Mm.
Hollywood's new wild child.
Exactly. And it wasn't just an act for the screen. Winona Ryder, her co-star in Girl, Interrupted, said something really telling in an interview back then.
Oh, yeah.
She said there was something magnetic about her. She wasn't pretending she was Lisa. That says so much about how real it was for her.
That authenticity, though,
Yeah.
it seemed to spill over into her public life, creating a kind of chaos.
Well, yeah. All the highly publicized relationships. Remember the blood vial necklace?
Who could forget that?
Right. And she was incredibly open, maybe startlingly so for the time, about her mental health struggles. All of that made her prime tabloid material, constantly.
It felt less like just rebellion and more like she was working through some heavy stuff, very publicly.
She even said it herself around 2004. She admitted, "I was lost. I didn't know how to handle my emotions, so I threw myself into extremes."
That quote really captures it, that turbulence before things started to shift again.
Mm-hmm. It feels like that public image, that chaos, was her trying to figure things out, find her place, and then came Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Ah, yes, the game changer. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And suddenly, Brangelina. Brad Pitt.
The biggest Hollywood romance of the 2000s? Probably. It just exploded, became this massive global thing.
It really had that modern fairy tale vibe for a while, didn't it?
It absolutely did.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is how they went from just being this huge celebrity couple to building this large international family, adopting kids from all over.
Became a real powerhouse unit.
Totally. But the sources are pretty clear. Behind the perfect image, behind closed doors, the pressure was immense. Fame, raising all those kids, their own personal issues. It eventually took a heavy toll.
That makes sense. You could only sustain that level of public perfection for so long, maybe.
Perhaps. So when the marriage finally did fall apart, it wasn't just a surprise, it was a shockwave.
Yeah, and what came next was just Intense, very public custody fights, serious allegations flying back and forth. The media frenzy was nonstop.
Relentless. There was this legal analyst quoted saying this wasn't just a divorce, it was a war fought in public and in court.
A war. Wow. That captures the intensity, I guess. Living everything under that microscope.
Exactly. Their private pain became this huge global drama. But, right in the middle of all that personal chaos, something else really significant was happening. Angelina found this new direction, a new purpose.
Which was her humanitarian work, right? That became huge for her.
Absolutely central. She became a UN Goodwill ambassador, started traveling extensively to war zones, refugee camps, really using her platform.
Advocating for refugees, pushing for change. It felt like a very deliberate move away from the Hollywood bubble.
It really did. And her commitment seemed, well, undeniable. There's this quote from one of her UN speeches: "We cannot turn away from people in need. It's our responsibility as human beings."
Powerful stuff.
Yeah, it marked a huge reinvention for her, redirecting all that passion we saw earlier. But it's also fair to say, even that work wasn't without complexities.
Oh, so?
Well, even her philanthropy sometimes drew criticism. There were debates, supporters saying she was doing vital work, critics sometimes questioning motives. The whole celebrity savior discussion came up.
Right. That complex intersection of fame and activism. It's always tricky territory.
It is, and those debates were definitely part of her public story during that time as well.
So, bringing this more up to date, how do the sources see Angelina today? She's obviously evolved so much more than an actress now. Director, producer, a mom to six, a survivor, really.
Definitely a survivor. And still evolving, it seems. The narrative continues. She's still navigating things. Health issues have been reported, ongoing family stuff, career shifts.
Like Maleficent, but also her directing work, which seems really important to her.
Exactly. She's directing, producing, clearly still shaping her own path, defining herself on her own terms. It's an ongoing process.
It really has been such a roller coaster, hasn't it? Her life, just extremes. Pain, triumphs, love, loss, rebellion, finding purpose.
Redemption, perhaps.
Maybe redemption, too. But the one constant, the big takeaway, it feels like, is she's just fiercely determined to define herself. Nobody else gets to do it for her.
That seems to be the core thread, yeah. And maybe that's something for you, the listener, to think about. Reflect on her journey, especially how she's constantly had to reinvent herself, find new meaning, all while living under this incredibly intense public gaze and facing huge personal hurdles.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Given all that immense pressure, the public scrutiny, the personal adversity she's faced, what does Angelina Jolie's story really tell us about resilience? About how identity isn't fixed, how it keeps evolving, especially when your life is lived out loud on a global stage.
Something to mull over.
Definitely. We'll leave it there for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.